Hello, my friend. It's a beautiful morning in the UK, and I thought that I would take you for a walk. So, no matter where you are in the world right now, and no matter what time it is or what season it is, right now you're coming with me for a walk. I do a morning walk every day, and this is the route that I'm taking, and you're coming with me. So, right now, the sky is blue, and there are white tufts of clouds. It looks like, for Christmas when you put cotton balls on the window and it's hanging those tufts. It's a bit the same with the clouds here today. There's some of them that are very high up, and there are others that are further down. So the layers of the clouds create those beautiful formations, but also the very beautiful colors. If you really look at the sky, you can see that it's not just blue and white tufts. It's all shades of blue and all shades of white. Now we are coming to a big road. It's the main road in the small town I live in. And there's a lot of traffic there always. And I actually enjoy the duality in the big road and the traffic and the stress and people rushing off and being in their heads, completely forgetting that life is happening at the same time. And then right next to the big road, there's a small path. If you would Google fairy tale path, this would be how it looks. We have a lot of robins. Don't know if you can hear them. Today's one of those days where even the birds think it's spring. And I think that a lot of people are going to think it too. I feel it in my body, that it really feels like spring. You have that smile on your face because your body feels that, spring is coming. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to go outside with t-shirts and shorts and get the flu, catch a cold. But isn't it worth it, on a day like this? So you can just lie down and relax, sit in meditation position, lean back in a bag lounger or in the hammock, and just enjoy going for this walk. It's a Monday today, and it's in the time of day where people have left for offices and schools, and so it's kind of quiet. And then you have people that are not in their cars. Oh, I actually want to show you this. Do you hear that? It's a storm drain. A friend of mine made a recording of storm drains in his neighborhood, and I hadn't heard that sound before because it's storm drains from a different continent, and it sounds different. And when I heard the sound of the storm drain that he had in his backyard, um, it reminded me of, those stalagmite caves that you have in southern Europe. With that particular sound was like a cave I heard in Greece, where you sail out on a boat and then you snorkel under some rock formations and come into this cave where you can take your mask off. There's a waterfall sounding like my friend's storm drain. I'm crossing a little road now where it's like one of those cozy neighborhoods where children in the weekends run out in the street and play. And I crossed the road and I'm back on the fairy tale path, and to my right there's a stream which is part of the big river that we're gonna walk next to. But this stream is just here, and because it's running where it is and the way it is, the vegetation and the foliage is so lush, even though it's February. You can hear a big road coming up. The noise is gonna get much louder slowly. Morning! Oh yeah, and I live in the part of Europe where you greet one another when you meet. So the sounds that you hear now, see if you can focus on the sound. Like the sound of the birds, yes. They go into the background, and the sound of the cars becomes more prevalent. And see if you feel that contraction in your body, listening to the cars, wanting that sound to be different and go away. Isn't that interesting? That our mind puts a value to a sound. I'm going through a tunnel, which is under the big road, and you can probably hear my voice is echoing. I love tunnels. I love the metaphor of darkness behind you and light in front of you. We're now on the other side of the road. That's a little puppy that I meet every morning. It's so cute. Hello, yes. Hello. Morning. Hello. Hello. It's funny with sounds that we have that preference of nice sounds and not nice sounds. It's really funny to look into why that is. Because every person in the car driving here, every van delivery that is driving here, they have a purpose, and they have lives and families that love them and wish them well and to come home safe. So you could hear that, when you hear all the cows. You could create stories about somebody on the way to visit a loved one. Or maybe that truck was a flower delivery. And if those weren't the thoughts you were creating, then look into why. What are you attaching to a sound that makes it nice or not nice? So we're moving away from the road. They're old trees with ivy climbing up with them. It's so amazing with nature that you have a young tree that is sprouting up and, casting, the bigger it gets, is casting shade. So the foliage underneath is not getting scorched. And as the tree grows and become bigger, it becomes, habitat for birds. And lots of animals are living in that tree. And at some point when the tree dies, it becomes kind of like a hanger for different foliage that is crawling up and using the dead tree that's standing left, to live on. And other animals are inhabiting the tree. And that mixture of young trees and old trees and blackberry bushes. Where I'm at right now, there's lots of blackberry bushes on the left side. Oh, on the right side too. And when all the blackberries are ripe, all these people walking here and collecting them in big buckets, which I love. I don't like blackberries, but I love people collecting them. There's still a lot of them hanging, completely wilted. They're not, nobody ever picked them. But then they're going to fall into the ground and the seeds are going to create another blackberry bush. It's just such a reminder that no matter what happens, everything is useful. The houses on my left hand side is like up on a hill. And because the sun is coming in from my right hand side, a bit behind me now, those houses, they have sun directly in the windows and in the gardens. And there might be somebody sitting right now having a cup of morning coffee or a cup of tea, enjoying the sunshine. I love when towns and councils are building paths like this. Where we're walking right now, I have the housing developments and all the homes on the left hand side. And on the right then there's huge bushes and trees. And then the path where we're walking right now. And on the right hand side there's, kind of like a little forest. And then you have the river. And it's really a used path There's two people on bikes with shopping bags, groceries, just past me. There are always a lot of people walking their dogs here. Morning. And just got a waft of weed. You know that lovely pungent smell of weed? It smells like two guys and a dog have been out here in the fields enjoying the sunshine. Yeah, around about here. So the smell is very strong right here. Now it's starting to get weaker. We can still smell it though. It might also be me still smelling the guys. But now there's another smell of, you know, that smell of ponds where the water is still standing. You know, there's no movement in the water, and there's a decay happening. You know, with algae. So it's not a disgusting smell. It's just that sweet herbal smell of decay. You know, when it's like not rotten, because that's not a nice smell, but before that happens. You also get a similar smell when you walk in the forest in the autumn, and you have all the autumn leaves sort of lying on the forest ground and starting to get wet. That sweet smell. That's the smell I have right now, mixed in with weed. And on my left-hand side, there's like a small stream, but you wouldn't really call it a stream because it's not streaming anywhere. With algae, and it's a favorite dipping hole for all loose dogs, where the owners usually standing here where I'm walking right now, yelling to get the dogs coming back, because if if you have a dog jumping in there, they come out green and smell a bit of algae and rot. Great to get back into your car, I think. There's a beautiful view on my right. We're now far away from houses on my right hand side. There's no houses there, and I can see the river. I'm kind of up on the path where I'm walking, and then there's forest going down, and the river is down at the end, and it's moving slowly. You know, that lazy movement that some rivers have, or some parts of rivers have. And the sun is reflecting itself in the moving water. That makes it look like glittering diamonds or sequins. And on the other side of the river, there's just forest and fields. I'm now at the path where all the doggies love to jump in, because it's quite deep. It's been really cold, even though the sun is shining now, so you can see small patches of ice lying on top of the pond. And then littering. I'm from Denmark, and we don't really have littering out in nature. And there's a lot of that here in the UK. And I know it's always a topic that I love to bring up when I'm doing nature walks and walking meditations and hikes in mountains. I love to bring up the topic of litter because it really ignites people. So what I'm passing now is a beer can lying in the pond and a Smirnoff vodka bottle lying in the pond. And there's some more beer cans lying there. So it's a beautiful pond with algae and ice and then human litter on top. What does that make you feel? What feeling do you get? Hello, hello, morning. Hello, you two. So there's a bench right here. And if you were here, I would like to sit down here on the bench and feel what feelings come up when you see beautiful nature and then human littering. Because things are as they are. I'm not saying that we should litter nature. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. Right now I'm just inviting you to look into the contraction that you feel, the anger that wells up in you when you see something like that that you don't want. Because in that, you have moved away from your body and how it feels to be here right now with the birds and the algae and the spots of ice, the forest, and you have moved it into an opinion. And all this beauty that is happening around you right now, you don't even notice because you're annoyed and aggravated and in your mind. So you can use litter when you see it. And obviously, if you can pick it up and put it into a bin, do something about it, then do that. And if you don't, then look at the complaining that is happening, the judging that is happening, the contraction that is happening in you, and how you remove yourself from what is actually happening right now in you, the beauty that is also here. Morning. Because it's all happening at the same time. It's never only one thing. Now we're turning into a huge field, and there's a sign when you go in here saying that you're not allowed to fish unless you're a member. It's one of those places. So I have a huge pond or lake on my left side. Now, the river that we had on our right hand side before is taking a very, very big turn. So I'm walking now in the direction I'm having the sun straight in my face. I'm on a field with a lot of paw prints and a lot of Wellington prints and walking boots. I'm in hiking boots because it's very muddy. I was walking here one morning and it had rained a lot, and then it snowed and it was frozen, and then it started to thaw and it rained again. And I met a woman that I usually meet every morning, and she has this little Yorkshire that was stuck in the mud because his short legs was completely buried in mud. Quite cute. And if you're thinking about calling me out on animal cruelty, then look into that too. So there's a huge blackberry bush to my right hand side. I'm standing in the middle of the field now. This is just a small patch of the big field. There's a huge blackberry bush in the middle of the field. And then there are like 2 meter, maybe 3 meter bushes around the entire field. There's a lot of mole tops where the moles come up. And there's a path that is very similar to paths that goats and sheep are creating in a field. You know, with that very narrow width. And we're walking towards a very old hedge that is hardly standing, passing through it. Now I'm coming into a huge field. For sure somebody's owning this. And for sure something is being cultivated here. And for all Americans, I can calm you down if you're afraid that I'm trespassing into private property and I'm gonna be shot. I'm in the UK, guys. That's not happening here. Just gonna stand here a bit, see if I can describe what I'm saying. I live in a very mountainous part, or hilly part, you would probably call it, of the UK, where I'm from Denmark, and the highest point we have in Denmark is like 145 meters. You know, we call that a mountain. So where I'm at right now, it's really beautiful. With my eyes, it's really beautiful, where there's kind of like a mountain in front of me, a huge oak tree. And you know, oaks can get so old. If you ever see an oak tree, then go to the tree and really look closely to the bark. And you can easily make a visual meditation when you slowly walk around an old oak tree. Because the bark is so different on the north side, on the south side, on the east side, and the west side. And the different elements living in the different directions that the tree is oriented. It's really impressive. So impressive to experience. We know nothing of what is going on. We are so engulfed in our own thoughts and misery and concerns and regrets. So where I'm walking right now, it's I've left the field, so I'm in a grassy area that I would guess is still owned by the farmer, but it gets very flooded here, so I'm now down from a hill. I'm not cutting the audio at all. There's a puppy coming. Hello, you. Hello. Hello. There's a black lab right here. She sometimes comes and then we go for a walk. And I think both of us are pretending that she's mine. His own always get very self-conscious and apologize a lot. I just think it's wonderful. Yeah. Waves an apology and walks in the other direction. which is very considerate, you know. Hello! So I'm now at the bottom part of the little, where I think it's getting flooded a lot. The river is directly to my right side, which means that the soil I'm walking on is very moist and very clayey, and they're like grass tufts sticking up. And when I look, you know, over all the grass tufts, it looks like, yeah, a punk concert, you know, with punk rock concert, and everybody's standing with their mohawks, green mohawks. And the sun is glittering in the dew that is on all the green grass, mohawks sticking up. So visually pleasing to look at nature. I think it's because it's organic like we are. And we tap into that wave of life. So easy to find into the joy of existing when you're in nature. He's kicking the ball to draw the dog's attention to the ball and not on me, which is really kind. But I like this dog. It's fine. Okay, it might also be a little bit stupid. You know, it's kind of looking at the finger pointing at the moon. So it's looking at his foot because that's what he's using to kick the ball. He didn't even pick up on the ball flying through the air because he was looking at the feet. I'm going to see if I can. I'm going towards the river now. I've actually never been down on this path here. There's a small path. Oh wow. Yeah, wow. Remember when I said when we were walking up on the path that I could see through the trees in the forest, the river was, you know, down there, and it was moving slowly, you know, that lazy movement that a river has in some parts of it. Well, the part I'm in now from the river, it's barely moving. This is a perfect place to sit and meditate. I've never been here. Thank you for inspiring me to go here. This is a perfect spot for meditation, it really is. So I'm standing about 4 meters up and the river is down there moving, and I'm really, really bad at distance, but I would say it's about 15-20 meters wide, and there's a hill on the other side going up higher to where I am. So the people living there, they have a river in the backyard, but there are no steps going down to the river, and it doesn't look like anybody's going down on that side of their house to come down to the river. And there's a lot of the river usually gets flooded here, and I can see that Where I'm standing right now, there's lots of all the debris that is being carried with the river when the river floods. It happens every year. When the river floods, where I'm standing right now is completely flooded. So there's lots of different debris and different kind of wood that we don't have right here, but it has been transported with the water. Lots and lots of leaves, dry leaves covered in mud. That we don't have those leaves here, from different trees and different foliage that we don't have here, but they have been transported with the river. It's another thing, isn't it, that we look at a flood and say, oh, so horrendous, look what is happening. What's really happening is that seeds and trees and foliage and it's being transported from one area to another area, and now it starts to sprout here, even though it's not from this area. It's just nature being nature. Our problem is that we want nature to be like we want it to be, not to be like nature, but to be like PG version of nature. A version that doesn't interrupt or interfere with our lives. Then nature's great. It's very, very muddy here. I might be the Yorkshire Terrier being stuck in a second. I'm going a bit up, and what you can hear is my tissue because my nose is running. I'm going a bit up now, and this part, the river, I'm going down so you can maybe hear the river. How it starts to pick up. Do you hear that? Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going down there. If I'm going down there and going up there, it should be a video because it will for sure be funny to watch. So I'm not going down there, but I don't know if you can hear the river. It's picked up now. There's like a small bank in the middle of it where I'm sure that fishermen are standing and fishing. We have a lot of salmon in this part of the river. I wouldn't actually know completely. I was thinking, is there trout here as well? I don't know actually. I don't know. I'm not really into fishing. I like the fish to be where they are and us to put out. If you're a fisherman and I just offended you, then I apologize. Yeah, other people must find this place really cozy because there's a lot of littering here. There's a Coke Zero and bottles and it might also have just been transported with the river when it was flooded. Oh wow, it's muddy here. I was just going to this side of the path. So where I'm walking right now, there's a lot of really dry twigs and it reminds me a bit of Mask Land, the way it looks. So nice. Nope, not going in there. Going back out again. It's really nice that it's so muddy that I can't walk on the path. So I have to walk through this tall, dry twigs or whatever it's called. I don't know what you call it in English. Because I wouldn't normally walk here. You know, I'm only walking here because I can't walk on the path. And that reminds me of how life is, all the struggles you have in your life are amazing, because the insights that are in those struggles, you would never have invited those insights into your life if it wasn't for the struggles. Not that I'm comparing, the death of a loved one or a cancer diagnosis with me walking through twigs instead of walking on a muddy path. But it is kind of the same, you know. Everything is always the same. Everything is copy-pastable. All insights you have in one area is copy-pastable into another area. That's why life is so magnificent. Oh, just a sec. I have a thistle in my legging that is poking into my leg. It's funny thing with pain, that the initial experience of a thistle torn into your it's called, into your leg. The initial reaction is uncomfortable, pain, don't like it. But as everything, that is just what the mind tells you. Nothing is ever only one thing. The pain of a thistle thorn into my leg, yes, it's painful, but it's not painful in the way that my mind just told me that it was, because it's not one pain, it's moving. The pain is there where I feel the thorn going into the leg, and that's where the mind would like the experience to stop. But if you really go with it, you can feel that a pain is moving from that spot and around in the body and becoming less and less until it's not there anymore. And that's the same if you have migraine or an emotional pain. It's the same thing. Like I said, everything is copy-pastable. So we're now at a part of the river where it's swirling, It's making those, just like clouds are making those moving formations, but just really, really slow. Those circular movements going around and dissolving and going into another swirl. The river is doing exactly the same, but much faster. You can really see when you look at the surface of how the water is moving, how the bottom of the river probably is looking. The sun is now on my right hand side, and it is so beautiful in the river. And because the river is moving quite quick here, it's kind of like small movements coming into the long beam of sunlight in the river. So the small movements of diamonds are coming in and they're completely becoming one with that huge golden beam, and then moving out on the other side. Did you know that when two waves are meeting, and they're clashing, they're not actually clashing, they're going through one another and continuing in the same movement and shape as they had before they clashed? It's quite interesting. If you're really, observing what you're seeing and not seeing what you think you're seeing, not recognizing what you're seeing, but really noticing what you're seeing. You always see something else. You can see exactly what I just said with the waves. They're not clashing and ending. They're going through one another and continuing on the other side. That's how a good human connection also is, isn't it? Where you're not clashing you're moving through one another and coming out on the other side, still as yourself, but with another experience. So I'm now getting closer to a big road, kind of like a motorway, but not really. If you live in Germany, this is most definitely not an autobahn. It's just, yeah, 2 lane in for each direction, and with, I think, a speed limit of 90 miles an hour, 120 kilometers an hour. So it's kind of traffic moving to all the other cities and not the one I'm in. The same thing is going to happen with the soundscape, that you're going to hear nature, probably my breathing, and the birds, and the twigs and the grass, my footsteps. And then the sound of traffic and, hello, sound of traffic and life is going to become louder and louder. And we tend to have an aversion towards, metallic sounds and mechanical sounds, which is great. Just note what is happening in you. Just notice that push-pull you have in you, that you want something and there's something else you don't want. So who is that? Who is that having that opinion? Why is that I having that opinion? Because is there anything but what is just here, happening? When you go for a walk, like the walk we're having now, you and I, you can be in that state of flow where you just, every single inhale is presence, and every single exhale is presence. And I feel the sun on my right side of my face, where my right cheek is getting warmer by the sun, and the left cheek is in shadow. I can also feel it in my hands, and my entire right side of the body goes a little bit warmer, and the left side is colder in the shade. And isn't that impressive and amazing, to experience that? Because it is one system, it's one biological meat suit that has the same blood flowing through the veins. And right now, some of them are being warmed on one side and cooled down on the other side. That's amazing. So this field, I'm now at the end of the field that I think that a farmer owns. And I have the huge road in front of me. It's still a bit far away, so you can probably hear the cars in the background. Super, super muddy here. Because I think a lot of dog owners come down to this part of the field and just stand here while the dogs are running. So there's a lot of footsteps and a lot of paw prints. And I'm now looking back at the field and looking at the other side of the oak tree that I talked about. I'm going up a tall hill because we're going back up on the path. It's quite steep. This is so steep that, kids would love to be here with a sled, a sled in winter when it's snowing. It's that steep, and you wouldn't plummet into the river. Just saying, if you're concerned about that, because the path that we walked on is quite wide. There's all the tall sieves standing in the way, so you would blast into that before you plummet into the river. But it's quite steep, and when I look from up here, remember that I said that I was standing and looking up on a hill? That's the hill I'm on my way off now, and from up here everything looks so different. Where we just walked, it looks so different from here. From up here you would never ever guess that the river is so beautiful over there, with the two spots where it's quiet and then taking up pace. And the view from here, when I look into the horizon, everything is blue. That blue color that you have when you look at mountains, especially in Southern Europe. I had that a lot while I was living in Spain with the mountains there. I love that blue color. So going through some bushes and some trees, old trees. I went out into the path, and this is a riding path that we're on now. Lots of more old dead trees with ivy climbing up. And the sun is, because I have all the tall trees on both right side and left side now, and most of them are dead, and they're ivy climbing up on them, so they look green, even though they're probably not really connected with the root system anymore. I don't know what you call those trees in English. I know the name in Danish, elm, if anybody's interested. And the forest floor is covered by ivy and green lush foliage because the sun doesn't really get down there. So I see the sun coming through the trees, and it's creating, disco light on my face. Not strobo light, not that stressful. But that way if you really pay attention now, you can feel that in the blink that you have a sunbeam on your face, it's warm. And when you move forward and go into the shadow of the tree, it's cold. And I love having that awareness when I'm walking, and especially with the speed I have now. If you want to do it when you're out, not with me, but out, where you can actually feel the difference, then you can walk slower and really feel the difference, the sensory experience of the difference of the warm sunbeam on your body and the cold shadow from the trees. I like doing it with this speed that I have now because it kind of has the same rhythm that my heartbeat and my footstep. And it makes me feel connected with nature, like the sun is beating my heart and the shade is moving my feet. I like that when I'm walking, moving my feet and my breath and my heart, my heartbeat, the literal heart, my heartbeat in the same speed or the same motion. So my footstep is correlated with my hip movement, that is correlated with my heartbeat, that is correlated with my breath. And if I have thoughts, then I either use a mantra in the same beat as well. You have kind of like two layers of thought, where one you can control and want it to think of something. And then there's this, rampant other thought that is thinking in the background while you are thinking. Normally we don't control any of them. It's just one big mess of opinions, and all thoughts are about something. And it can be so stressful if you believe them. If you believe that you need to hear what a thought is saying, taking it as important. Just like you're not taking any of the birds that you hear in the background in as important. Or the sound of my footstep. You don't take it in as important. You don't need to take your thoughts in as important either. It's just thoughts. Hello. Oh, it's a runner, and I almost see her daily. And when I used to live in a different part of town, kind of like the other side, where when I was going for walks by the river there, I saw her there as well. So I've seen her run almost daily for 3 years. Such a powerhouse of a woman, and it must be at least, what distance are we talking about? 10 kilometers that she's running. And she has a lovely smile. She has a lovely smile. I can hear a siren maybe in the background. It's because we are on the right hand side. Remember, now I'm on my way back. And so we have the river on our left hand side now. And it's way, way, way down there behind the field. And we're walking on the path that is kind of elevated. And on my right hand side I have a forested area, and then houses. And that's why you start to hear human created metallic noises in the background, like sirens and cars and music. There's a school. I think it must be, or is it a sport thing? I don't know. Sometimes they blast music there, which I really find, actually nice, in a contrast to all the beautiful nature sounds. For me, it's super interesting to feel that contraction in me when there's something I don't want. Because immediately I realize that I actually do want it. Because I'm intrigued. And you can't argue with reality, you know. So where I'm walking now is also a horse path, which you can see. There's manure lying, which is great, you know, for the microbes and the fungi and everything happening here. Hello. I think the two women that just passed, both of them had masks on, and that made me think. This recording is from 2023, in February 2023, so we're past all the COVID stuff. Not that there's not COVID happening, I know there is, but what I mean is all the restrictions and wearing masks and keeping distance and all of that. All those restrictions have been lifted. And then wearing masks is it's a bit unusual to see people with masks now, and it made me think that it's one of the things that I'm really grateful about regarding COVID. Not about the disease or any of that, but that happening and all of us being forced to wearing masks has actually left a lot of people in a space where they are allowed to cover their face. I know a lot of my autistic brothers and sisters, they prefer having their face covered. And having a mask on today, I mean, nobody bats an eye. You know, you do you. Where when they were wearing a mask before 2020, a lot of them experienced people being opinionated and nasty towards them, which just breaks my heart. You know, we are all different. None of us are the same, and we all go through the world, you know, trying to figure all this out, doing the best we can, healing all traumas, and I just want to tell you that whichever way you need to be in the world for you to attain your freedom, I just want to be the one standing next to you, you know, saying it's okay, you're fine, do that. If you need to do something that everybody in your surrounding are not approving of, for me it's about spoiling my hair. That's a big thing at the moment. If you need to do that, if you need to do something that makes you feel comfortable, not wearing heels in the office, wearing a mask, coloring your hair blue, growing a beard, changing your gender, you know, whatever you need, it's fine. It's fine. Nobody has any idea how it is to be you. So nobody are entitled to any opinion about you. And I truly promise you, they are not talking about you. You're just activating something in them that needs space, compassion, and love. And since you're giving yourself that space, compassion, and love, they get activated because they don't. So whenever somebody's saying something towards you that makes you self-conscious, really feel into it. I'm standing right next to you. Really feel into it. And then see the person in front of you that is judging you. Does that person hold their own truth? Does that person actually live the life that they want to? Or are they just trying to conform you into a little box so they feel more comfortable? Whatever you need to do to attain your freedom, it's completely fine. Completely fine. We're now back on the path that we walked on before, with the very, very tall trees. And we're up where... I'm just wiping my nose again if you can hear me. Sound weird. We're up again where we have the river on the left hand side, right? And it's down, 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 down. And there's forested area with... Oh, I just want to... There's a hedge that is built between the path and the forested area. And they have used a lot of old dead tree logs that are lying there on thickness of an arm, I would say. And on it there's so much moss. So clearly facing north with the... or the cold side of the log, and the sun is shining into the moss, and when you really look up close, it looks like velvet, you know, that soft moss, and you can see how the moss is stretching up towards the sunshine that is shining on it, and gets like long arms, like small Christmas trees, pointing towards the sun. And it's kind of... there's a little spot here where there's an ivy growing on the log, and then there's moss growing over it, and you have small leaves on the ivy, and small Christmas tree moss pointing towards the sun. It's quite beautiful. There are no animals, no ants or anything. Might be too cold for them. Hello. And that was the beautiful yoga woman on the way back. She has a lovely smile. We always have headphones in. And whenever I see people with headphones, I'm always wondering what they're listening to. I know that a lot of Aussies, we put headphones on to pretend that we can't speak with anybody because we're occupied with listening to very, very important audiobook or really into the music, and it's just complete silence. I know that. But often when I see people, you know, when you're sitting on a bus or walking the street, no, it's more like sitting in the bus or on the train or in the metro, and people are having headphones on, and you can see they are completely distant in their look. They're not here at all. They are completely into the experience of what is going on. I like that. passing a fence into a house. And there's a Union Jack hanging. There's no wind, so it's just hanging and relaxing, having a break. You're probably going to hear people talking in the background. That's the houses that are closer to this path. But I can hear there's not a little gate or anything going from the houses into the path. So they would have to walk all the way around to get into the path here. Now there's really lots of trees and all the blackberry bushes. And obviously all the birds are in there, trying to figure out where they want to live when summer comes. The path is very firm here. I think it's because thousands of people have walked here. So it's completely compacted. You can't drive with a car or motorcycle here, or moped for that matter, because it's like gates that you need to come through that you can't navigate anything bigger than a bike through. So it's just bike tracks and white feathers and leaves. I see a lot of white feathers here, and it reminds me of I was walking the Camino with a friend, and she said that when she saw white feathers from birds, it reminded her of her guardian angels being there, that it was feathers from their wings. And I just said that when I see white feathers like that, I think a bird with white feathers have been slaughtered. But that's just me. The electric tricycle you heard just passed us with, an elderly person in one of those scooters, electrical scooters. I think they're so great, for elderly people being able to come out in nature. And this path is quite long, so you can really knock yourself out. Just go for a long, long ride in nature, even when you can't walk. I think that's nice. We're now getting back to the big road, and we're going to cross under the tunnel. So it's kind of like if you're sitting and meditating, then this is the sounds of civilization indicating to you to that it's very soon time, 10 minutes time. It's time for you to come back to the world. Right now though, I'm still sitting breathe. I'm with you for about 10 minutes more. So. Hello. So if you listen to the sound, of the cars and the traffic and the trucks and all of that. Now, it's a different than it was the first time you heard it. You feel that it's more an onslaught of the senses, and you probably need more calm in your life. See if you can have silence as much as possible. And silence, I don't mean auditory silence, well, I also mean, but also visual silence. Don't put your screens away. Don't watch television. Don't go online. Just sit in silence, because you're supposed to be able to manage. I know that from when I'm having being overwhelmed and sensory overstimulated and I'm in shutdowns. It's always because my senses have been experiencing too much, too quick, and I haven't had enough space to digest the experiences. So if you need silence, then that is part of what is needed, and then you need that. We're going through the tongue now. And we're in the tongue now. There's lots of graffiti here, but it's not really reading any of it. It's more text. I like graffiti. I think any expression is a good expression. There's nothing worse than even not expressing. And even if that expression is loud and violent and like a pressure cooker exploding, it's still an expression. There's something that needs to be looked at. I think graffiti is just a part of expression. I just want to clarify that if you are a pressure cooker exploding regularly, being violent in your language or actions or thoughts regularly, please look at it. Reach out. Get help. Because you condemning yourself for that, it's just going to put you into a depressive state. There's no need. It's not natural to have, violent expressions. It's something that happens when we're conditioned and our being is being suppressed. And alongside that comes guilt and shame. So reach out. Now crossing the little road again where the children are playing. I'm going into the part of this part of nature where I live. Okay, there are two robins flirting. Or fighting, whichever. When they're chasing one another. The robins here in the UK are much smaller than the ones in the US, I was told by an autistic friend of me that is very much into birds. I did not know that. Now I do. And I like blackbirds, all dressed up in black, trying to look goth. But then they have that orange beak. kind of a giveaway that they're not goth, isn't it? It's like a goth teen with black eyeliner and black nail polish and enough, what do you call it, hairspray in the hair to have an open hole in the ozone layer above them, and then wearing a pink fluffy sweater. Fluffy socks secretly tucked into the middle of the boots. Do you remember when you were a teen? So many things I would like to say to me. That's my teenage me. Basically, it's okay. You're fine. Whatever you think is wrong with you, it's not. You still believe that there's a right and a wrong and a normal and a weird. There's not. Nobody's particularly weird. We're all weird. That mold that we try to fit into, nobody fits into that. And we're all masking and struggling to fit into something that nobody fits into. Hello. I'm talking about teens. This was the teen that has the duty of taking the dog for a walk and was oozing of that enthusiasm that a teen has when you're forcing to walk them for them to walk the dog. But he did smile and say hello. I love teenagers. And we're back to the big road. That road is behind the builded area where I live in. And now we're going to the area where my house is in. It's one of those housing areas with lots of construction. Truck just coming. One of those housing areas with nice front lawns and nicely kept laurel hedges and quite a wide road actually. And then there's a doggy park, which is super nice, but a bit odd since we have that beautiful forested area we just walked in, right in the backyard. There's a doggy park for convenience, I think. I think you and I are the only one here, besides that construction worker building a house or doing something about a house. I think you and I are the only one here, because everybody's at work. And we had the bins collected today. So all the empty bins are standing in front of the houses. That was it. That was the morning walk. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you're going to have a great day. Hope you're going to have a beautiful day ahead of you. This was really nice. Thank you.